Yo, how's it going, guys? Geo here. Today I just want to talk about Electrum Turbo cards in like a pure Endymion variant. So, why I bring this up is because normally I just play Chronograph Sorcerer in my pure Endymion builds, but I'm getting really sick of drawing Time Gazer. Like, oh my god, I hate that card. But I at the same time, I do think it might just be the best option to play. So by Electrum Turbo cards, I mean cards that help you get Electrum out before you use your Pendulum Summon. It's not as important as other combo Pendulum variants, but you still really want to get Electrum out before your Pendulum Summon to help fix your scales, get a nice +1, add anything you want to the extra deck. You can consistently set up like 3 or 4 negates from your Pendulum Summon after Electrum. While beforehand, you really have to be kind of manipulative with your scales and I don't know, like it's a lot harder without it. Start off, I kind of want to talk about like what the the Electrum Turbo cards would be. There's obviously Chronograph Sorcerer, Curtain Raiser, Darkworm, Speedoid Passing Glider, and Master Cerberus, Mythical Beast Master Cerberus. Two of those I'm not going to be talking about right now because Master Cerberus is automatically included if you're playing pure Endymions, and it doesn't quite do the same thing because it doesn't get you spell counters. And then Speedoid Passing Glider is a much less commonly played one, and that's only good in one situation with uh, Abductor, Magical Abductor, where you have to scale something and get the third counter on her, so you can search Passing Glider and then special summon him. But again, he doesn't give you a spell counter when you use him, so he's not really in this conversation. But Chronograph, Curtain Raiser, and Foolish Burial slash Dragon Shrine all give you spell counters in addition to giving you a special summon for Electrum. So first up, we have Chronograph Sorcerer, whose effect is, well, the pendulum effect is when you scale him, you can have him destroy himself and special out one Time Gazer Magician from your deck or hand to the field. So this is really good in addition to having the body for Electro because it gives you a spell counter when you scale him, and it removes himself from the scale so that you can place another pendulum scale down to give you more spell counters. In addition to that, he's also a scale 8, which is like fantastic for this deck as you need level 7s like Reflection and Master of Magic to really make the deck work. So being able to pendulum summon them is very important. He also has a monster effect where if a card on your field is destroyed, you can special summon him and then special summon another monster from your hand. So this is really cool as a combo with Master Cerberus. So like Servant is really highly um, regarded in this deck now because you can get a Jackal King on your board before you make election to protect it from hand traps or protect yourself from Nibiru. But Chronograph with Master Cerberus does a similar thing where you scale Master Cerberus, pop himself to summon Jackal King, or add Jackal King to your hand, then Chronograph will summon himself and Jackal King. And your opponent can't really interrupt the Chronograph effect with anything, like no hand traps or anything that I'm aware of. So it's pretty nice, but it isn't a plus like Servant. So it's something like I'd rather resolve Servant than resolve this effect if I had to pick. And then there's also the fact that Time Gazer has a monster effect himself, where the first time a pendulum scale of yours would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, it is not destroyed. So, very obvious example is if you have a Time Gazer in your monster zone and you're trying to resolve Servant in your pendulum zone, your opponent can Ghost Ogre your Servant, which would normally stop the card from resolving, but is instead protected by Gazer, which does come up. It's very relevant. They're very relevant. And then the last big pro I think of Chronograph Sorcerer is he can be used anytime in your combo, and this also comes up quite frequently. Um, Both Curtain Razor and Darkworm can only special themselves if you control no monsters, while Chronograph Sorcerer, you can do it after you special summoned Curtain Razor even. Like you can Pendulum Summon, do your whole combo, and then special out Time Gazer after your whole combo, so you have like Link Fodder or Fodder to make Dawn Dragster or something like that. It's not a plus, but it's like you can transition your scale into a monster later on in the combo, which is very nice. Then the cons is you have to play Time Gazer. Like, man oh man, I am starting to hate this card. It's not as bad in the other version, I feel, but because this version relies so much on spell counter generation, the fact that you can't scale Gazer if you control a monster is so bad. And then on top of that, if you draw Gazer and Chronograph, and you don't have a way to trigger Chronograph's monster effect, if you want to use Chronograph's scale effect, it's just straight up a -1. You're destroying himself to special Gazer from your hand. It's really bad. Then even more than that, Gazer is a level 3, which means your only scales that you can special summon him out with are Servant and Reflection, who, like, granted, you're gonna have Servant a good amount of time, but you're also gonna have Magical Abductor a good amount of time, who can't special out level 3s, because she's a scale 3. Um, Another con is you can't normal Chronograph Sorcerer, like, if you ever need to. Like, let's say you draw a Gazer, I guess you normal the Gazer or something, but, like, you banish Gazer, your Chronograph's, like, gonna be pretty dead. Then we have Curtain Razor. Curtain Razor is another staple in, like, the Guard Dragon Turbo variants of the deck, but in pure Endymion builds, you don't see him as much as you see Chronograph right now. And I really think is because yes, you want Electrum, but the quality of the cards you have in your deck that you draw or that go into your extra deck matter a lot more in this one because you're kind of just pendulum summoning. Excuse me, pendulum summoning like 3 or 4 negates. Hopefully, not like I don't know 2 monsters that are just gonna like sit in defense mode and like. I mean, I guess you can make them into Appaloosa or something, but ideally, like the quality of the cards are more important in the pure Endymion build. Um, but he's still good, right? Because it is you can make Dweller out of him, which is very nice because he's level 4, and he doesn't have a Garnet like Time Gazer. He just specials himself if you control no monsters once per duel, which it's a strong effect. It gives you a spell counter. Same thing as Chronograph, where it takes him out of the scale. But it is only once per duel, and you must control no monsters. So those are like the big cons with him is turns later on, like turn 2, turn 3, if you draw another Curtain Razor, like there's not much you can do with him. You can normal summon him, I guess, which Chronograph doesn't have. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like him too much. And then lastly, we have Dark Worm. I think Dark Worm is a very interesting pick for a pure Endymion build because I feel like Dark Worm has a lot of pieces that taking them out gives you a lot of room, and it doesn't feel really worth playing them if you're not playing the Guard Dragon stuff. But at the same time, he's still a +1. You can still get a spell counter if you draw a Foolish Burial, a Foolish Burial or Dragon Shrine. Uh, and those two cards are really, really good spells. So draw a Foolish Burial or Dragon Shrine, get a spell counter, and get a +1, like a good +1 at that. It's a scale 0. It's a level 7. Like it's good, but the problem is like if you draw the gate 0, you no longer get a +1, and you just kind of have a dead card sitting in your hand. Like it's good to get for free, but you don't want to see it in your opening hand, you know. And then on top of that, if you draw a Dark Worm now, he's only really useful as a normal summon, and like it's just that same thing where like if you're not going to use him for something from the extra deck, there's like a higher quality of cards that you want. So Dark Worm is amazing for Guard Dragon combos, but I don't really feel that comfortable running him in like a pure Endymion variant just because I feel like there's nothing I can do with him afterwards. Um, so like but like at the same time, he also makes Dweller, and level 7s let you go into Absolute Dragon, and they let you go into Vortex Dragon through from there, which is a really nice card to have. And you definitely have the extra deck to play that if that's the route you want to go. But like in summary, I think Chronograph just has like more utility, and the fact that it's a scale 8 is just so nice because Current Razor is a scale 7, which is really bad for this deck because you can only special at Jackal Kings, or that's the only thing that really matters that much. And then Dark Worm is a scale 0 and a scale 4, and you have a lot more low scales than you do high scales in this deck. Every mythical beast is a scale 4, Servant is a scale 2, Reflection is a scale 2, Abductor is a scale 3. Magister is a scale 8, and Master is a scale 8. And that's it for your scale, like your scale 8s. Having the extra 3 high scales in this deck is, I think, very valuable. So, yeah, in the end, I think Chronograph is the best one. But I'm sick of drawing Gazer, to the point where I'm considering maybe playing a Dark Worm engine instead. But then I'm going to draw Gate 0. So, I don't know. Just something I've been thinking about replacing in my pure variant. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.